Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another Artsy Autismmom Chronicles. If you are not already subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe and double click it so you get all notifications. Today's Artsy Autismmom Chronicles is a Women's History Month spotlight on this lady, Madam Vice President Kamala Harris. But before we get into Madam Vice President's story, here is the intro, and I'll be back with you right after that. Kamala DeVee Harris was born in Oakland, California on October the 20th, 1964. Her mother, Shyamala Kapalan, was a Tamil Indian biologist whose work in the progesterone receptor gene stimulated advances in breast cancer research. She moved to the United States from India as a 19-year-old graduate student in 1958 after studying home science at Lady Irwin College in New Delhi. Kamala Harris's Jamaican-American father, Donald J. Harris, is of Afro-Jamaican and Irish-Jamaican ancestry. He is a Stanford University professor of economics emeritus who arrived in the United States from British Jamaica in 1961 for the graduate studies at UC Berkeley, receiving a PhD in economics in 1966. Donald Harris met his future wife, who had received her PhD in endocrinology in 1964, at a college club for African American students, though Indian American Gopalan was allowed to join. In 1966, the Harris family moved to Champaign, Illinois, where Kamala's younger sister Maya was born, when the parents took positions with the University of Illinois. The family moved around the Midwest, with both parents moving and working at multiple universities in succession over a brief period of time. Kamala Harris, along with her mother and sister, moved back to California in 1970 while her father remained in the Midwest. They stayed briefly in central Berkeley, then at a duplex on Bancroft Way in West Berkeley, an area often called the Flatlands with a significant Black population. When Harris began kindergarten, she was bused as part of Berkeley's comprehensive desegregation program to Thousand Oaks Elementary School, a public school in a more prosperous neighborhood in northern Berkeley, which previously had been 95% white, and after the desegregation plan went into effect, became 40% Black. Her parents divorced when she was 7. Harris is said that when she and her sister visited their father in Palo Alto on weekends, other children in the neighborhood were not allowed to play with them because they were Black. A neighbor regularly took the Harris girls to an African American church in Oakland where they sang in the children's choir, and the girls and their mother also frequently visited a nearby African American cultural center. Their mother introduced them to Hinduism and took them to a nearby Hindu temple where Gopalan occasionally sang. As children, Kamala and her sister visited their mother's family in Madras several times. Kamala says she was strongly influenced by her maternal grandfather, V. Gopalan, a retired Indian civil servant whose progressive views on democracy and women's rights impressed her. When she was 12, Kamala and her sister moved with their mother to Montreal, Quebec, where Shamala had accepted a research and teaching position at the McGill University affiliated with Jewish General Hospital. Harris attended a French-speaking primary school, Notre Dame des Nipes, then Faith School, and finally Westmont High School in Westmont, Quebec, graduating in 1981. After high school, in 1982, Harris attended Howard University at HBCU in Washington, D.C. While at Howard, she interned as a mailroom clerk for California Senator Alan Cranston, chaired the Economic Society, led the debate team, and joined Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. Harris graduated from Howard in 1986 with a degree in political science and economics. After attending Howard, Harris then returned to California to attend law school at the University of California, Hastings College of the Law. Through its Legal Education Opportunity Program, while at UC Hastings, she served as president of its chapter of the Black Law Students Association. She graduated with a Juris Doctorate in 1989 and was admitted to the California Bar in June of 1990. In 1990, Harris was hired as a deputy DA in Alameda County, California, where she was described as an able prosecutor on the way up. In 1994, Speaker of the California Assembly, Willie Brown, who was then dating Harris, appointed her to the State Unemployment Insurance Appeals Board and later to the California Medical Assistance Commission. Harris took a 6-month leave of absence in 1994 from her duties, then afterwards resumed as prosecutor during the years she sat on the board. Harris's connection to Brown was noted in media reportage as part of a pattern of California political leaders appointing friends and loyal political soldiers to lucrative positions on the commissions. Harris has defended her work. In February of 1998, San Francisco District Attorney Terrence Holloman recruited Harris as an assistant DA. There, she became the chief of the Career Criminal Division, supervising 5 other attorneys, where she prosecuted homicides, burglaries, robberies, and SA cases, particularly 3 strike cases. In 2000, Harris reportedly clashed with Holloman's assistant Darnell Solomon over Proposition 21, which granted prosecutors the option of trying juvenile defenders in superior court rather than in juvenile court. Harris campaigned against the measure, which passed. Solomon opposed directing media inquiries about Prop 21 to Harris and reassigned her to de facto demotion. Harris filed a complaint against Solomon and quit. In 2002, Harris prepared to run for San Francisco's district attorney against her former boss, Terrence Holloman, the incumbent, and Bill Fazio. Harris was least known of the 3 candidates, but persuaded the Central Committee to withhold endorsement from Holloman. Harris and Holliman advanced to the general election runoff with 33 and 37% of the votes, respectively. In the runoff, Harris pledged never to seek the death penalty and to prosecute three-strikes offenders only in cases of violent felonies. Harris ran a forceful campaign assisted by former Mayor Willie Brown, Senator Dianne Feinstein, writer and cartoonist Aaron Magruder, and comedians Eddie Griffin and Chris Rock. Harris differentiated herself from Holliman by attacking his performance. She argued that she left his office because it was technically inept, emphasizing his 52% conviction rate for serious crimes, despite a 83% average conviction rate statewide. Harris won with 56% of the votes, becoming the first person of color elected as district attorney of San Francisco. She ran unopposed for a second term in November of 2007. Nearly 2 years before the 2010 election, Kamala Harris announced she planned to run for Attorney General of California. She also stated she would only run if then Attorney General Jerry Brown did not seek re-election for that position. Brown instead chose to run for governor, and Harris consolidated support from prominent California Democrats. Both California Senators Dianne Feinstein and Barbara Boxer, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, United Farm Workers co-founder Dolores Huerta, and Mayor of Los Angeles at the time, Antonio Villaraigosa, all endorsed her during the Democratic primary. In the June 8, 2010 primary, she was nominated with 33.6% of the votes, defeating Alberto Torrico and Chris Kelly. In the general election, she faced Republican Los Angeles County DA Steve Cooley, who led most of the race. Cooley ran as a nonpartisan, distancing himself from Republican gubernatorial candidates. The election was held November the 2nd, but after a protracted period of counting mail-in and provisional ballots, Cooley conceded on November the 25th. Harris was sworn in on January the 3rd, 2011. She was the first woman, the first African American, and the first South Asian American to hold the office of Attorney General in the state's history of California. In January of 2019, Kamala Harris officially announced her candidacy for President of the United States. But by December of that same year, Harris had withdrawn from seeking the 2020 presidential nomination, citing a shortage of funds. And in August of 2020, after winning the presidential nomination, Joe Biden announced that he had chosen Kamala Harris. This made her the first African American, the first Indian American, and the third woman after Geraldine Ferraro and Sarah Palin to be picked as the vice presidential nominee for a major party ticket. Harris became the vice president-elect following Biden-Harris ticket victory in the 2020 United States presidential election. After the major networks called the election for Biden-Harris, Harris was recorded calling Biden saying, "We did it. We did it, Joe. You're going to be the next president of the United States." The quote became one of the top 10 tweets of 2020. Kamala Harris has made a lot of history becoming Vice President of the United States. She is the first woman Vice President. She is the first African American vice president. She is the first South Asian vice president, and she is the first vice president who went to a historically black college, as well as being a member of the Divine Nine, which are the black fraternities and sororities, which I am also a member of. I hope that you have enjoyed this spotlight on Madam Vice President Kamala Harris. Please, 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 if you are not already subscribed to my channel, go ahead and hit that bell so that you know about all my upcoming videos. Leave me a comment down in the comment section. Tell me what you thought about this spotlight, and of course, follow me on all my other social media. You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, and you can also find me on my other YouTube channel, The Purple Diva Den, where I do spoken word. Until the next time, I offer you guys peace and blessings from the West Side. I'm out, you guys. Bye.